Welcome to the third and concluding session of Energy Scenario 3. In this session, we will look at the overall scenario and energy security concerns of India. Total primary energy consumption at the world level is 13,511.2 million tons of oil equivalent, as against India's primary energy consumption has been 753.7 million tons of oil equivalent. This is just 5.7% of the world. In 2018, world population has been 7.7 billion and Indian population is 1.37 billion. Now, what is per capita energy consumption of the world and that of India? Let's do some calculation. So, calculation of per capita energy consumption at the world level is like this. The world primary energy consumption is this 1.13511.2 million tons of oil equivalent. These millions are in the next step converted into 13511.2 into 10 raised to 6 tons of oil equivalent. World population is 7.7 billion. That is 7.7 into 10 raised to 9. Now, per capita energy consumption is energy consumption divided by the population. So, this figure comes out to be in tons of oil equivalent. So, per capita energy consumption at the world level is 1.7547 tons of oil equivalent. If we want to know this energy consumption in kilowatt hour per year, then this can be converted like this. First, we have to convert this tons of oil equivalent into joules, that is 1.75 that is 42 into 10 raised to 9 joules. 1 ton is equal to 42 into 10 raised to 9 joules. So the numerator is in joules. Then we have to divide this by 10 raised to 3 to convert this into kilojoules, and then 3600 kilojoules is 1 kilowatt hour. So dividing by 3600. So this calculation comes out to be 20,471 kilowatt hour per year. So the world level primary energy consumption per capita is 20,471 kilowatt hour per year. Same figure with same calculations at the India level is 6,418. So it is almost less than 30%. So the Indian energy consumption per capita is less than 30% as compared to the world. Then does it mean that our energy consumption is less? We are still falling short of energy consumption? Well, up to a certain extent, yes. But per capita, if we go on increasing the energy consumption, the question we have to answer is that do we have these resources? So this figure of 6,418 kilowatt hour per year of energy consumption per capita is somewhat confusing. So if we, of course, there must be increase in the per capita energy consumption of the country, but it cannot, the target cannot be 20,471 because for 1.37 billion population, if we provide 20,471 kilowatt hour each year, then you can imagine how much energy each person will be consuming, how much energy India has to provide. That prodigious amount of energy we cannot provide. So that would not be the target. This is just for the sake of comparison that we are falling short of energy consumption. It means on the scale of development. Then this pie chart shows the primary energy mix of India with the different energy sources. So out of 753.7 million tons of oil equivalent, 56.3% of energy is obtained from coal. So we are still depending heavily on coal. Then oil, 29.5% consumption is of oil. Then natural gas 6.2%, Renewables 2.9%. Of course, this is a 2017 figure, but it is improving. 4.1% contribution is by hydro and 1.1 is nuclear. This coal, we are heavily dependent on coal, and of course we have coal with us. Now this is a point of concern where 29.5% consumption is of oil, mostly for transportation. Then what is a power sector scenario? So electric power sector scenario at the India level is like shown in the table here. These figures are obtained from PowerMin website, Power Ministry website, and the figures indicate at the 18 March 2019. So out of the total capacity of 3,50,162 megawatt installed capacity, 63.7 is thermal power plants. So in India we have 63.7% of installed capacity of thermal power plants. Out of that 54.6% is coal, 7.1% is gas, and 0.2% is oil. Now the question here is oil, where we are using oil for power generation? In remote locations like Sundarbans or Andamans or in all Nicobar Islands, there it may not be possible to transmit grid electricity produced from power plants. It may not be, the distance is so far that it is not possible for the electricity to be transmitted. So there some huge generating sets are installed, and those generating sets are transmitting and distributing electricity. So this 0.2% account for this electricity. Then 13% contribution is of hydro power plants. 1.9% of electricity is produced by nuclear power plants. 21.2% of electricity is produced by renewable energy sources. In this, the contribution of wind is major, is predominant. Then the primary energy is used by many sectors. So what is that distribution? Industry is using 57.7% of primary energy. Major chunk of primary energy is consumed by industry. Then residential is 9.1. So a primary energy consumption is residential. In this LPG is also included. Commercial and other public services like malls, banks, or commercial complexes, they consume commercial activity, they consume 1.6%. Agricultural and forestry 3.3%. This must be increased to make agriculture more efficient and productive. Non-specified energy consumption is 14.7. Non-energy use is 5.2. Transport 8.4%. Then this comes to a total 540.9. This is presented just for the sake of having an idea. Then sector-wise electricity consumption. Industry is consuming 40%, agricultural 18%, domestic electric consumption is 24%, commercial sector is consuming 9%, traction and railways, they are consuming 2%, and others 7%. Let us talk about the transmission and distribution losses in electricity. If we see this table is obtained from Central Statistics Office Ministry, Central Statistics Office, Ministry of Statistics from 2018 data. So this column shows the year, and this last column, let us concentrate on the last column where it is shown loss in transmission and distribution in percentage. In 2007-8, the loss of electricity in transmission and distribution has been 27.18%. Then subsequently over the years, the loss has been 25.5, 25. So it is always of the order of 20%. What does it mean? it means that in 2016-17, if 100 kilowatt hour of electricity, that is 100 units of electricity, reaches to our home, the utility or some electric generating company has to produce 121.3 units of electricity, and then they have to bill 100 units to us only. Now this remaining 21.3 units of loss, where they will show? So central electricity regulatory authorities will not allow the customers to be burdened with loss. So this is a great loss as compared to the transmission and distribution losses in other countries. So this is again, you can see, is a challenge to the engineers. What we engineers can do in this? We can take small projects related to transmission and distribution, related to technology of cables, efficiency of transmission and distribution, how to make, I suppose in this transmission and distribution, some extent of thefts also will be is also included. So how to prevent theft of electricity? That also technological solutions to these losses, to reduce the losses in transmission and distributions, we can provide as engineers. And the students of engineering, they can take small projects to reduce these losses in transmission and distribution in a quantum manner. This will really help to the society as well as the utilities, because this loss is not acceptable. 21.3% of loss means if 100 units of electricity is generated, out of that 21.3 units are lost in just distribution. So this is a great loss. So when we talk of lakhs of megawatt hours, this loss is considerable. So it is the duty of us engineers to suggest and come out with a technological solution to this problem. Now, trend of per capita energy consumption and energy intensity. As we all know, energy intensity is defined as energy consumption per GDP per capita. So energy consumption, if it is divided by GDP per capita, it becomes energy intensity. Energy intensity is measured in megajoules per rupee. The higher energy intensity indicates that energy consumption of a country is higher and GDP is lower. Energy intensity, if it is less, it means that GDP per capita is higher and energy consumption is less, which is a desired case, because GDP is a productivity of a country. GDP indicates productivity of a country. Now, if you look at the scenario in Indian level from 2011 till 2016-17, the figures are like this. The energy intensity in 2011-12 has been 0.2732. It is almost in the range of 0.2. Okay, but marginally increasing or decreasing. In 2011-12 it is 0.2732. In 12-13 it is 0.2727. It is slightly decreased, but at country level it makes a big difference if it decreases. So this is a desired case. Again, it went on increasing to 0.2628, 0.2621 and 0.2489, and in 2016-17 it has been 0.2401. So you can see that there is a steady decrease in the energy intensity, which is a desirable, which is a good thing at the national level. It means that our GDP per capita is increasing, and on that background our energy consumption is decreasing. Means we are using our energy resources efficiently. So this is a good sign of development. What are the energy security concerns before India? The major security concern is that fossil fuel will continue to contribute significantly in energy mix of India. We have lot of coal. We have lot of demand of electricity and energy. But as we have lot of demand of electricity, we cannot go on burning the coal indiscreetly. So coal is abundantly available, but environmental concerns, pollution concerns, they limit its full utilization. And it cannot be, if it is polluting, if coal is a polluting source of energy, we cannot stop it and suddenly switch ourselves to the non-conventional energy sources or clean energy sources. We cannot suddenly go for hydro source because it is a location dependent. So all the remaining sources which are clean, they have their own characteristic. So fossil fuels, for the time being, oil, natural gas and coal, we have to depend uh, on them significantly. So they play a major role, they continue to play a major role in the energy scenario of India. So in this situation, what we engineers can do is that we should always look out for the more efficient equipment, more efficient processes. Efficient equipment means what? The equipment which utilizes more energy, which consumes less fuel, and then which emits less pollution, which will be more, you can say, environmental friendly. So those processes, those equipments, we should always strive to design and implement. So clean coal technologies is one field where we can start working. Coal gasification technologies is also one alternative where we can take projects and go on working. Import dependent. We are heavily dependent on crude import. Our crude, it is eating our foreign resource. It is crude import is eating our foreign surplus. So it must be reduced. So each and every quantum attempt to reduce the fuel oil consumption, furnace oil consumption, petrol consumption in a quantum manner. Each citizen has to contribute in a quantum manner. Then only this gigantic task can be undertaken. This gigantic task can be achieved, and then there will be some results of reduction in crude imports. So it is the responsibility of each and every citizen to conserve the crude oil, to conserve the petroleum products in as much as possible, in as much quantity, we can say. Then, as we have seen in the last slide, that transmission and distribution of electricity is a concern. Losses of transmission and distribution of electricity are huge, and it is a matter of concern. So these are, and we have less amount of, we don't have great amount of energy resources with us. We are not energy rich country. We only have coal with us. So on this background, we are not energy rich country. We have energy security concerns, and on that background, we have to know our strengths and weaknesses, and then we have to chart our future course of action. So on this background, we are targeting for the growth rate of 5 to 7%. Simultaneously, there is an increase in population, increase in urbanization. Then industrial growth, if we are targeting for 5 to 7% growth rate, industrial growth rate is inevitable. So industrial growth is on rise. So the commodity of electricity will always be falling short in India. There will always be a demand of electricity in India. So what I feel is that there is a great potential for the business of generation of electricity in India, especially in large utility scale. In solar photovoltaic, ground mounted as well as grid connected rooftop solar power systems, they have a great scope. On this background, with this note, one more point I want to bring to your notice is that solar energy potential in India is enormous. So with an availability of solar radiation of 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per meter square per day for 250 to 280 days in a year. So this is a great potential available in India. Can we tap this potential and augment our energy security, or augment our crude import in a quantum manner, we can say. So with this note, I conclude the topic of energy scenario. Thank you very much. Your suggestions are always welcome. The next topic will be renewable energy applications. We will start with renewable energy applications. Thank you very much.